Welcome to a very special video. I'm your host, Gaming Jay, and this is a MetalMercs update I wasn't really expecting to make. So when last I streamed, I showed you off the brand new Godot version of MetalMercs, and I said I was releasing the version as it was, and my plan was to take a break from it. And then work on some other things, also just take a mental break, and eventually come back and finish the port. And so, kind of unfortunately, it turns out that that plan wasn't entirely true. And so I'm here to tell you today that I never stopped working on MetalMercs, actually, and I still need to take a break and work on other things. However, in the past 5 weeks or so since the last version of MetalMercs came out, rather than take a break and move on to other things, I just kept thinking I'm going to add one or two more features and then I'll move on. And lo and behold, I found myself another 5 or 6 weeks into development with some other new updates, which are going to be released to supporters on Patreon and past supporters shortly after that. So today, we're going to take a quick look at the gameplay. And if you missed the live stream, because sometimes people watch the videos but not the live stream, this is being released as a video rather than a live stream to try to capture you as well. So we'll just play around with it here today. Now when you start up the game, you get an option of a crew to select. And this is early days, so there's only 3 different crews. You can be the Iron Jacks, you can be the Gray Star Company, or you can be the Dust Dogs. And essentially these crews begin with mechs and pilots and a bankroll. And you can see the Dust Dogs are kind of your scrappy underdog. You got the Iron Jacks as a nice middle of the road. Excuse me, I have this little cough and it just won't go away. You've got the Gray Star Company if you want to go professional from the get-go. You can also sort of get a preview of the mechs that they're going to be starting with, and the pilots that they will begin with. Today we'll split the difference and start with the Iron Jacks. You can also see a preview of the reputation system that will eventually be implemented. I mean, right now, different units have different starting reputations, and you can earn reputation as you play for different factions, of course, like in the current Pygame demo that's on Steam. But obviously this isn't fully implemented yet because you only have one employer, so this will all be coming. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my tutorial on, which is another feature. The first time you play the game, the tutorial will be on by default. After you've played it once, it will be off by default. And then that way, if you're new or you just played the Python version, you can get a little bit of help. Not too much has changed in the starport here. At least from walking around. So let's check the mech bay. And you know what's funny is, it's been for me like 6 weeks since I've looked at the current Godot version that you supporters have been playing. I don't fully remember all the changes that I've made, so I'm going to list as many as I can. I'll have a change log that I've been building up that I will publish on Patreon as a public post, so you can see all the changes. But some of the changes, there's like little subtle things, like when you hover over weapons, they kind of glow now, and you have a slightly nicer effect when they appear. The stats bars here have been reworked a little bit from how they were previously. You can also hover over things to see what these specific bars refer to. In terms of the units, I mean, their health bar has been reworked a little bit to sort of line up the styles, but I don't think too much has changed there. And yeah, I don't think too much has changed overall. I do wonder if there's a good mech I could purchase. I tell you what, for demonstration purposes, we're going to go ahead and come in here, and we're going to get some money so we can buy some things, and we'll purchase a Brigadier. And I think previously, like when you want to sell a unit, you have to hold down the sort of a, implicit confirmation thing so that you don't accidentally sell someone by clicking haphazardly. The buying units now works that way as well. That's another little add-on. We can repair this guy. And I don't think there's too many changes here either. Eventually, obviously, you'll be able to mod your mechs, but that's just not in the game yet. Okay, we got a couple of mechs. I'll leave it at that. Just pop in. I think the pilot... Oh, and I guess, you know, one thing that has changed that, again, I'm just blind to at this point, is when you come into the mech bay and pilot bay, you get this nice full screen menu that appears now. Previously, it was kind of a pop-up menu, and it looked not bad, but it sort of... like it looked not bad, but I feel like this more full screen menu looks a little better actually, and it gives me more space to create menus. And so, oh, that's for selling. Let's hire this guy, and I feel like that's pretty good. If you come into like your stats screen now, it also has this full screen menu layout, and you have these little tabs to you know, jump between them. So some of the updates have been focused on trying to improve the user interface, trying to make things just look nicer and sleeker, and so on. If we come into Starcom here, I think I'm getting messages in the background, and I don't know if you guys can hear those. So if you do, if you hear a little blink, somebody's messaging me on WhatsApp, one of my friends. Anyway, coming into the available missions here, few changes have occurred here. One, now if you hover over missions, you can actually see what they are. And two, that means there are actually different mission types now. And that's one of the huge additions that's been made. The missions, I will say, are still a work in progress. They're still pretty simple, but they do run off Lua scripts, as I mentioned in the live stream, which gives me lots of possibilities to make missions much more dynamic in future. And so, yeah, you get this little basic pop-up. This will stylistically get improved later, but it's very functional right now, just so you can actually see. Missions themselves also, or contracts, I should say, vary from, you know, like 1 pip up to 3 pips. And I'm just calling them pips right now because it was a quick and dirty UI add-on so that you could see sort of mission difficulty. But basically, if you want starter contracts, you want to have just 1 blue pip here. 3, this is really for when you have a full company, so like 12 mechs and 12 pilots, and even a few reserves you can take on an extended contract. So 1 pip is where you probably want to be at least starting off, or maybe 2 pips. In fact, we can do a 2 pip contract. Why not? I made the game. I should be able to succeed in the game, right? Okay, I think that's all to tell you here. I mean, if you come in here, you can also see your contract. You know, here it is. Here, if you want to abandon your contract, you have to hold down. So that hold down mechanic has really been added into some important buttons so you don't accidentally click on things. Indeed, if you press escape, if you want to quit, you even have to hold down the mouse button, so you can't accidentally quit. Okay, nothing else to see in there. All right, let's go ahead and launch our mission here. So, again, you can sort of see what missions are coming up. The first mission here is Scorched Earth, which is one of the new mission types that now exist in the game. I think the load screen here is largely the same as how it was in the version that you guys will have played up to now. So nothing really to say there. Okay, so here's Scorched Earth. Enemy, so these details now actually fill in and actually tell you what you'll be doing. So that's nice. Enemy logistic convoys have been stockpiling supplies across the sector. Command wants these depots erased before they can be evacuated. Move fast, you'll have 3 minutes. So this is an example of a timed mission. And we can start somewhere over here. Well, just over here. Actually, I still need to tweak a little bit about the missions. So for this, what you're seeing today, we'll probably have a few more little changes before you actually get your hands on it. And in fact, it's not really properly showing me the depots. It's just showing 1 here. But basically, all 4 of these depots are up for grabs. And the mission objectives aren't being listed correctly. Okay, so a few things to fix. Trust me, the missions actually do work more or less. But obviously, you know, still sort of in development for these things. So we take it all with a grain of salt, guys. I'm going to set up 3 separate groups here. I guess I'll just keep bringing guys. Why not take a giant force? One other thing I guess I need to work on is making sure the combat is balanced. Not sure if it is right now, but actually that's one area where you guys playing the game will be able to leave feedback for me on the Discord and tell me if things are too easy or too hard. Also, full disclosure, the game will eventually start collecting anonymous statistics, nothing to do with anything that could ever possibly identify anyone, but basically just to see, you know, when this kind of mission is taken, what kind of forces go in and do they succeed or do they fail? And collecting that kind of aggregate data across hundreds of your games, across all your plays, that'll really help me tune the difficulty. So that will be like a minor addition that will come, but obviously I always want to be straight with you guys about the fact that that will be a thing coming in, especially for these Patreon early access builds. Anyway, wouldn't affect anything you do in game, so in fact you probably won't even notice it when it occurs. All right, there's been a little bit of change to the UI. So first of all, when you select units, previously you had a selection box appear on the right. As somebody pointed out in the Discord, much nicer if it appears on the left, so now it appears on the left. It's also been redesigned, so it's much sleeker and simpler while still giving you the key information that you need to know. The health bars above units have also been redesigned. They were originally just a single health bar that I tried to represent both armor with the size of the bar and internals with the color of the bar, and ultimately that just is too complicated. You just need two separate bars, so armor and internals. You also have a reactor health, and that's how many more reactor hits you can take. That's just shown when you select a unit. And then you have your weapon pips below and your heat bar. Your pilots here have their own health. They also have their attack and defense rating. And rather than get really complicated and show the pilot skill plus any modifiers, what you're just seeing here are the skill, and if you see up chevrons or down chevrons, it means that skill is being modified by the environment or an add-on to the mech or something like that. So there's that little change. The orders bar has like a little bit of a fade to it, so it tries to fade in the background a bit when you're not using it. Let's see, we've got our timer there. We have to destroy depots. Oh, and I will say one thing too, is right now there's no fog of war because I'm running this in debug mode. Obviously fog of war is still in the game, it just not here for today's purposes, so gives us a nice god tier view of everything on the battlefield. Other things you can do, if you don't like this side panel bar, you can now hide it. And when you select units, you can still sort of see those units light up here, so you can see like what group you're selecting. Even if you don't want to look at the whole group, you can bring the group back out. You can also hide these, so if you actually don't like these bars, if they get in your way, you can hide those. So I wanted to give you a little more control over your user interface. Maybe you like to see all the units, you know, specific details. Maybe that's just noise to you and you'd prefer not to. When you zoom out, the unit health bars and stuff are updated to behave a little better, although they still overlap a lot. I really got to fix that somehow. If you hold Alt, you can see the name of every unit. I did this funky thing where I tried to show in the previous version like their health and other details. It's just too much. So, and also the units now, when you hover over them, it tells you their name and if they're hostile. And there are some missions where you have allies. That's kind of a cool thing. It will say like friendly or neutral. So yeah, hostile. Anyway, let's try and destroy some depots. So we have to destroy 4 depots to clear the mission. We could destroy 6 for some bonus pay, or we could destroy all 8 for even more bonus pay. We're gonna go for at least 4 so that we pass the level. We only have 90 seconds left though. So you can see this is an attempt to make a different style of mission where fast-moving mechs are more preferred than heavier, bigger mechs. Oh, also turrets. These are not mechs, these are turrets. So we hover over them. There's an autogun turret. One's a medium laser turret. So turrets are now a thing. There are hostile turrets. In this case, in base defense missions, there are allied turrets that will help you. I made a few very subtle changes to the visual effects of missiles and rockets as well. Not sure if you can really notice, but they have a little bit more of a flame trail behind them. It's very subtle. I can easily make it less subtle, but in all my testing, the more obvious it became, the more distracting it became on the battlefield. Like rockets and missiles would just overpower the visuals of a fight, and it was just too much, so I sort of toned it down. We only got 30 seconds left. I think we can at least get 6. Yep. You'll see there's a little bug here, which counting them all as succeeded. So obviously there's a little bit more work here to do, but we have 20 seconds left, and we got it. Now we could destroy some of these mechs that have been chasing us. In fact, I'm going to do that. Here's one fun thing I just realized. I don't know if so the game now includes the ability to salvage mechs from the battlefield. I don't know if I have actually messed with that since I've added the turrets, because I've done so much unit testing in just small areas of the game. I think it's possible to salvage a turret, which you should not be able to do. So I'm going to have to, we'll see today. Today we're going to learn something, guys. You'll learn something live with me. Let's at least blow this guy up so he ends up in the salvage pool. So we know we have one good unit. The unit AI also has been improved a bit. So previously units would get fixated on a target, and even if they were running through a swarm of other nearby enemies, they would still chase that target. So you get kind of weird battles where units were ignoring other units that were close by. Units will now periodically reevaluate their targets unless they're locked on to a specific enemy, meaning that in big battles, units will sort of periodically be reevaluating and adjusting their targets, allowing for the battles to make more sense. Units don't just pair up and then run off into the horizon chasing each other, ignoring everything else that's going on. Okay, obviously we got our sort of post-battle repair area. So you can, bring some, that guy doesn't need much repairs. You can decide here. Okay, there's another little bug. Not showing the name. All right, so a couple different things to fix. I'm going to make a few notes of these things. All right, and now the big reveal. Can you salvage turrets? You can. All right, we'll fix that. Anyway, so previously the salvage area was not available. It now is available. So these salvage rights now matter. Okay, so let's say we want to salvage something here. I'll salvage an actual unit. Let's say we want a Jackman. We can go ahead and salvage him. He gets added right into our inventory. But now if we actually want to use that Jackman in the next mission, he's cored out. He has no functioning reactor. But even if we repair his internals and we repair some armor, this thing is still not functional. Right now in the supplies, there's the capacity to patch a reactor. This should actually have a limit where you can only add 1 hit point to a reactor that is functional, so you actually couldn't repair this guy in the field. So getting a mech, so here's a firebrand. This one actually could be taken, and if you repair the internals, could go into battle immediately. You don't have to repair the armor, probably advisable. So you'd probably want to repair armor and internals, and then you could apply that patch, the reactor patch. Right now in this version, it'll let you put the reactor patch on anything, so we technically could make this Jackman functional. We could actually bring this guy into battle if we want. But yes, I think my whole thing that I've been struggling with continuously with MetalMercs is how do I make salvage fun, but also I like the idea of salvaging something and instantly bringing it into battle, but it also feels like it should come into battle a little rickety, like it's sort of fresh out of the scrap pile, and it takes a little work to make it really functional, so I think the new core mechanic works well for that. Obviously, you've noticed you can view your current deployment. You can also come here and view your mech inventory, so that's another addition. Anyway, other things that will eventually come in the debrief include unit performance, pilot experience, just, you know, mission breakdowns. That will all come. But again, this scene now is also using the new what do you call it? The new window, the new large window. I'm also noticing that the tutorial that I told you I would show you has not appeared, and it's because I am running in debug mode. So maybe we'll do one more mission together. Let's see. Let's try defense support because that's new. We'll try one more mission together. I'll reboot out of debug mode just so you can see the tutorial, and then I'll leave it at that. So this version, as I say, is being released to current patron supporters right now. By the time you see this video, it should be out, and the last few bugs you're seeing here should be fixed. If you're a past supporter, there will be an email coming to you sort of in the near future containing everything, but if you just want to be on the cutting edge, it's just simplest and easiest to always go out to the patrons first, the currently active patrons, I mean, and yeah. Now in terms of setting this up, so see, we can bring the Jackman if we want, right? He is on board, but he's in rough shape, so yeah, due to the scavenged nature of his origin, he might be risky to bring him. I mean, other units have taken damage, right? I didn't really spend much effort repairing anyone, so, you know, 'tis what it is. In any case, let us see this new mission in action. All right, so this time around, we have to defend the base against the bandit raid, keep half of the defenders alive, or keep all the defenders alive. So if we click here, it doesn't want to zoom us to the base. Well, here's our base. So here are some friendly turrets. Here are some friendly defending units. There's one column of them, so 4 of them. So we are their relief forces. So we get to come into the base over here. And, oh, enemies have already spawned. We should be able to take these guys out. They're going to walk with us to the base. But this is an example where, now there are missions where you spawn in the base and you have to defend it. Again, this one we're a relief force, so we have to spawn on the map and then walk into the base, catch up with the defenders. Now these friendly units should begin to engage the enemies, assuming they get close enough. The turret definitely is firing on them. Right, but these guys will come in and they will destroy the base. You guys want to actually fight? Oh, there they go. I was gonna say, why are you guys not fighting? These guys spawned in kind of a weird spot where it's a little tricky for them to like see the enemies. I think that's contributing to them largely staying put. Also, there are different AIs for units now, and there's like a guard AI, there's like a patrol AI, there's a hunt AI, and so units who are guarding will kind of chase enemies a little bit, but they won't try to stray too far from where they spawned. But given this weird spawn position, these guys are largely protected, which makes it easier to keep them alive. I get a bonus if at least half of them are alive. But yes. Go kill these guys. There is a mission now where you have to defend a base, and enemies will try and destroy buildings, and if they do, you lose. In this one, we don't have to worry about defending the base too much, or do we? I have to double check that. Anyway, you guys get the gist of what we're trying to do here. Boom. All right, we killed some of the bandit. And so you can see these guys keep going back to their like guard positions. They just spawned into bad guard position. Like, I'm gonna guard the rocks. If they try and cut through this pass, we've got them. Alright, so we actually did defend against the bandit raid. And we kept everyone alive, so we got some bonuses. Huzzah! Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and abandon the contract here. Oh. I guess it counted as failing that mission, but I get another shot, but I'll abandon the contract for realsies. We'll pay our penalty and return to the hub. Okay, let me reboot here. We'll take a quick look at the tutorial. All right, rebooted with no debug access. Fine, we'll go ahead. We'll give Greystar Company a shot. They all have their own sort of little histories here. So the startup screen in the current MetalMercs lets you customize all sorts of stuff. That I do want to add customization back in, but I also wanted to sort of streamline but enhance the startup at the same time. And I thought it would be kind of interesting to have some different sort of startup, basically like challenges, like how well can you do with the Dust Dogs in 5 years compared to the Iron Jacks or the Greystar. So this would be like hard, medium, easy. But obviously I want to add a lot more customization ability, a lot more startup options. So this is just a sneak peek of kind of some of the stuff we can do at startup now. And I would also like to add like a custom where you could sort of either go random, or you could, if you want to customize your startup unit in some way, I thought, why not let people do that kind of stuff? So there will be options there. Anyway, with the tutorial on, you can disable it at any point by clicking here if you change your mind or you're done with it. But the way the tutorial works is every time you enter a new building that you haven't been in before, see a new screen, you'll get some tips. So contracts are how mercenaries earn money. Available contracts are listed here. Details of the selected contract are displayed here. This mission map shows the path of missions in this contract. During the contract, you will get to choose your path. To complete a contract, you must reach the end of one path. No contract is complete without negotiations. Advanced pay will pay more, but carry a larger forfeit fee. The forfeit fee must be paid if you fail the contract. Salvage rights allow you to capture claimed enemy equipment. Field supplies allow you to repair units between missions. Finally, deployment limits place restrictions on how many mechs you can take into battle. If you're satisfied with the terms of contract, you can accept it here. Good luck. So yeah, there's quite a bit of text there. You know what, you can click through it really quickly if you don't want to read it. You can literally turn it off if you don't like tutorials, as if you've watched any of my Let's Play videos, you know I often do skip this stuff personally. So who am I to add into my game? But I think it's good to have some tutorial description to help people, because things seem obvious to me because I made it, but not necessarily to everyone. And I'm sure to you guys, because you've been keeping up with the game's development. But anyway, here's the mech bay. Market shows you mechs that are available to purchase. These are your mechs. Modding will come in the future. Good luck. So that one's a little simpler, but the mission setup screen, of course, has that. And when you enter a building for the second time, you don't get that. So I'm not trying to hammer these tips home over and over and annoy people. They're just there if it would be helpful to people. Anyway, that's it. Those are the major new developments that I can remember for MetalMercs. There are all sorts of other little subtle, there are bug fixes. There are little aesthetic things that you may not notice, or that I may be not noticing. So all sorts of other cool stuff. And again, this is after another little over a month's work since the last release. And my plan in future is to continue developing the game, obviously. We want to add in all the features that were in the Python version and then some, and have this version eventually replace the Steam demo and, of course, the final release of MetalMercs, which will have to be next year sometime, given the time we have left in the year. However, as I say, for my own mental well-being, have to take some time off from developing this, you know, like maybe like at least a month of just me time where I can just relax. I can catch up on some movies, see some friends, play some games myself, where it's not for a YouTube channel and not for research purposes or anything like that. but just sort of take some time to center myself again. And also, I do have Deck of Stabs, which is the other much smaller game that I started that I do want to sort of take a vacation for programming MetalMercs to go back to Deck of Stabs. I really want to get that one finished up and released on Steam as a full release, hopefully early in the new year. And then around that time, I'll transition back to working on MetalMercs and really go at it full steam. And because so much time transitioning to Godot was spent around getting the base systems working, like Lua scripting and the graphics engine and reading in data files and this and that, and a lot of that has been solved. The fun thing is, if I spend 2 or 3 months programming MetalMercs now, it's going to be things like the universe map and new factions and all this stuff, as opposed to all these core base mechanics. So there will be some big changes coming to MetalMercs, this version in the new year, as we catch up to the Python version and surpass it. But as a very rough timeline, that's kind of where we are with things. And as I say, if you don't hear from me about working on MetalMercs for the next month or 2 or even 3 months, I definitely haven't given up on the project. It's just part of this process of keeping my sanity and getting it done. So I am working on it. But feel free to talk to me in the Discord or on Patreon. And thank you for checking out today's video. And I hope if you have not supported the game ever before, you might consider checking it out on Patreon and joining the team. But if you just want to be a fan, we love that too. And then the second best thing you can do is go wishlist the game on Steam, because that helps get us more visibility. And yeah. Until next time, my friends, you all take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much for stopping by. Alrighty, guys. Peace.